Well, hi, everybody. It's good to see all of your names that are popping up. So glad that you could join us. I have a crowd, or a band, I should say, today. This is my lovely wife, Kate, and my lovely friend, Bart, in the back, who's already commented on the comments already. So we thought rather than doing a recording this time for our music, we thought it would be great to do some music together. So these are two of my favorite people on planet Earth. That it would just be a lot of fun to do some music. So because of copyright law, we're not going to really do songs that we would typically sing that are written by other people, but we're going to do a couple old hymns together because those are free domain. So we can do it that way. So hope you're doing well. This is a song that we sing regularly called The Love of God. And it goes like this. Greater far than tongue or pen can never tell. It goes beyond the highest star and reaches to the lowest hell. The guilty pair bow down with care. God gave His to win His erring child, He reconciled and pardoned from His sin. Oh, love of God, how rich and pure, how measureless and strong, it shall forever give these guys a hand because they can hear you. They can totally hear you. All right. Thank you guys so much. They just for the sake of not sitting on camera awkwardly for the next couple of minutes, they're just going to go off to the side for a little bit. So they will. They're still a part of it. They're still here. All that kind of stuff. But as you probably know, there has been some larger news that we shared last week when it came to what this thing called CMYK is and where we're headed over the next couple few months, if you will. And so what we want to do this time, if for whatever reason you're just tuning in and you don't know what's going on, first and foremost, thanks for tuning in. My name is Matt, and we, as CMYK, are going to enter into an incredibly unique season right now that we're calling a Sabbath year. This is something that I don't know of other churches or faith communities doing it very often, if at all, but something for us that we feel is right, good, true, and beautiful for where we are right now. And so what that means is that CMYK is not necessarily going away. It's not done. We're not closing up shop or any of those kinds of things. But what it means is our Sunday gatherings that honestly haven't happened for a while because of COVID-19. But our Sunday gatherings, they're going to push pause for a year and allow me and allow some others to just take a rest, to take a break, to breathe deep, and then in a year to pick this back up and engage, okay, what could this and what should this look like? So in the midst of that, again, we talked about it last week, but I hope that you remember in the midst of that, we are hoping that you stay plugged in and engaged, whether that's through our intentional communities, whether that's through just connecting with people that you know, love, and appreciate that are a part of CMYK. We would love to see you at the picnics that are coming up in a few weeks. Those kinds of things that you would still stay engaged, because there are still things that are going to be happening behind the scenes and around the city when it comes to CMYK. We just won't be gathering on Sundays for a while. So what this whole thing is tonight is an opportunity for you to ask any questions, to make any comments, or anything that you have to bring to the table, as this is our last time gathering like this that we're going to have for an extended period of time. So would encourage you to comment there. Obviously, I see a lot of comments coming in, people saying hello. We've got some clapping happening for the band, so that's a great thing. So we're going to spend some time just answering some of those comments and questions and talking about some things, anything that you want to bring to the table. And then we're going to call the band back, if you will, and close out with one of my all-time favorite songs together. So as I've been thinking about this, there have been questions that have been coming in. The last couple of weeks, honestly, have been really interesting for me personally, because I've started to reach out to, personal friends and contacts, people that are close to CMYK, and saying, hey, here's what we're thinking and here's what's happening. And in the midst of that, there's been a lot of responses and questions that people have. And so I want to take just a couple minutes and have the opportunity to answer some of those questions that more and more people have been asking me. And then if you have anything specific, obviously bring it there in the comments. The first question that I always get, and I've received it a lot over the last couple of weeks, is just the question of, are you okay? And people, I feel so loved and so appreciated in that question. I'm not trying to belittle it or make fun of it, but in the midst of me kind of raising my hand, as I did last week and have done over the last few weeks, and saying, hey, I think where I'm at personally in my health and in my life, for me to take a break from any sort of spiritual platform for a year would be a healthy thing, has obviously created this response that there's been a lot of people that have reached out and said, are you okay? Because there's some concern that I'm not. And I want to be as fully candid and honest with you as I can be. I'm doing okay. I'm not, I'm not crying myself to sleep every night. I'm not a hot mess. Physically, I'm doing good. Mentally, you'd have to ask my wife, but I feel like I'm doing okay on some levels. What this is really driven by in a lot of ways is an understanding of where I believe holistic health for my life could be and should be on some levels, and an opportunity for me to take a year to hopefully get there. Whether that's when it comes to my kind of understanding and approach to what being a pastor looks like and that spiritual platform, whether it's coming to grieving and processing some things that have happened in my life over the last couple years that I want to just create space to be able to deal with that on a healthy level. So there's things like counseling and therapy that are going to be a part of my life. But I want to be honest with you. This isn't driven by, Matt's hit rock bottom and I absolutely can't do this anymore. It's simply me trying to be as present, honest, open, and loved with all of you as possible. And part of that is me just raising my hand and saying, I think this would be a healthy thing for me because I don't feel like I'm in the place or the space that I want to be to lead CMYK. And so I want to be able to get there. But ultimately, I am okay and things are doing okay. And ever since making this decision, as I said last week, man, the reality is there's been this beautiful thing that's entered my life as I've started to step this out for me personally, with my family, those kinds of things. So ultimately, I'm doing okay, but trying to do better. I don't know if that makes sense. So I love, okay, so we got Kendra Shaw is commenting. Hello, Kendra. Doing okay on some levels should be the coronavirus tagline. I agree with that. That is a great tagline. Doing okay on some levels. The other question that has kind of come back over and over again, and I love this question, is how can I, so people responding to me, how can I support Matt or CMYK? How can I support you, people are asking, or CMYK? And I just love that question. That I'm trying to be honest and say I'm not in a space or a place where I feel like, me just trying to power through and offer things to people for the next year is probably the best, where I'm just going to step off of the spiritual platform. And that the response from so many people has been trying to turn the tables and say, okay, so what can I do for you? And what can I do for CMYK? Because a lot of people have responded, and I'm so grateful for the responses, with how much CMYK, this community and the work that we're doing together, has meant to them and does mean to them personally. And so I just want to say thank you. That's a beautiful, beautiful question. As far as the answer to that question, how can you support me or CMYK? The best thing that you could do for me personally is to stay connected to this thing called CMYK. We were never meant to just be a Sunday gathering, as I talked last week. So stay connected to the community and the people around you. That's who and what we are at the most foundational level. So plug into an intentional community. If you're not a part of one of those and you're looking to get plugged into one of those, reach out through our social media, reach out through the contact section of our website. Just reach out, and we will do everything that we can to get you plugged into an intentional community. Or maybe there's people that you know that are a part of CMYK, friends of yours. Man, make sure that you have their phone number, contact info, and be intentional. And honestly, schedule a time where, hey, we're just going to call each other once a month at a minimum, just to check in and see how each other's doing. I know it doesn't sound like you're doing much for me, but it really is such a beautiful thing, because my wife and I and so many people have put a lot of our blood, sweat, and tears and energy into this thing called CMYK and the community aspect of it. And so the thought that just because I step away from the spiritual platform for a year, that the whole thing disintegrates, that's something that honestly could probably keep me up at night. And so the work that you would do in saying, hey, this is our thing, as I again talked about last week, that's one of the biggest supports that you could bring to us in this season, just to know that this was never about us. This is about community connecting and finding a more beautiful way forward together. So that is honestly one of the best ways for you to support and be a part of this thing. Obviously, again, I talked about it last week, the financial piece. If for whatever reason you want to continue to give to CMYK, you can know that we're going to continue to give away as much as we can in the midst of that. And then it allows us to have truly kind of a larger palette of colors when it comes to, okay, what are we going to create next, and what does this thing look like next if there are some funds in the bank because of this year. We are prepared and we're ready for, if for whatever reason you decide not to give to CMYK anymore. That's okay. We want you to do what's best for you. But if you're looking to support CMYK and the work that we're doing in this unique season of a Sabbath year, that would be another way to do that. And then I already mentioned it, but please do everything you can to get to the picnics. The picnics are coming up. We've got one on June 14th. It's at Pioneer Park. All of these are at Pioneer Park. One on July 12th and one on August 9th. All of these are Sundays. They're just going to be a lunchtime picnic. And man, I just want to see all of you. So I hope that you would do your best to get there. That would just be huge for us. Another question that I've gotten a lot over the last couple of weeks has been, what are you going to do with all your time, Matt? Which is great. And I would probably have the same question of someone that's raising their hand and saying, hey, just so you know, I'm going to take a year off from this. I get it. I think most of you probably know my life is pretty interesting from the standpoint of I work full time for this thing called Art House Cinema in Billings, leading that, trying to move that thing forward. And so that's where a lot of my time and energy is spent. And then I'm have a wife, Kate, and 2 kids, and they're incredible and awesome. And in the midst of that, there's been this, probably 20 plus hour a week thing called CMYK that's been part of my life over the last 7 years now, where most nights when the kids have gone down, I'm going out we have a kind of an office that I go, and I, go out to the office and I work weekends, Saturdays, while the kids are playing and doing different things. I'm usually working. Sundays obviously are spent preparing and getting ready for this thing called CMYK. So at the end of the day, what this is allowing me to do is experience a life that maybe most of you are experiencing, called time off, called the opportunity to hang out with your friends, hang out with your family in a unique way. And I'm not complaining about anything. Those are all choices. But for me, part of the health of stepping away from this is to find a healthier pace for my life and to figure out what it looks like to just have one job and to just be a dad and to be a husband and to be a friend and those kinds of things. So I'll have plenty of things to occupy my time. I still have this kind of creative spirit and bone in me that I'm really interested to see what the next year brings. So while I'm, stepping away from a spiritual platform from the pastor standpoint, I don't know what I'm going to create. I'm really interested to see what happens with that and stay, hopefully still connected with so many artists, people in the CMYK community, just creating beauty together, but just doing it as friends and doing it as artists rather than Pastor Matt, if you will. So that's the other question that I would add. So there isn't much happening in the comment section. So if for whatever reason you do have another question, feel free to throw it out there. I do want to say, I've said it last weekend, the amount of encouragement that just continues to come my way because of this choice is so beautiful. So I just want to, again, say thank you to all of you. Again, it feels weird to be doing this over the internet, to be saying, hey, we're not going to gather for a year. And rather than seeing all of your faces in the room together and being able to process it together, to just do it online like this, it definitely is not the desired way to do anything. But let's be honest, there's not much happening when it comes to the desired way to do things in our life these days. There's a lot of things that are just not the way we want them to be, but we're hoping that things get better. And I'm hoping that this decision and this choice would help us move forward in that direction. The last thing that I want to say is just kind of before we do this final song, this is kind of, in some ways, my last opportunity to communicate to all of you in this format and in this way. And in thinking about, okay, what does Matt want to say and what do I want to do? I don't necessarily have a big talk prepared or anything like that, so don't worry, calm down. There's not 3 points, all of that stuff. I just want to encourage you to do one thing, and that is to take your spirituality seriously. I think that there's an opportunity sometimes for potentially that this thing called church and going somewhere on Sundays and trying to engage, it's work, it's a decision, it's commitment, it's discipline, all of those kinds of things. And it's a good and beautiful thing. But I've watched it for myself, and I've watched it for a lot of people, honestly, that have been a part of CMYK. When you take away maybe the expectation, or you take away the demand from people you have to go to church or else, those kinds of things, we can easily potentially become very flippant with our spirituality. We can become very flippant with this idea that there's more to who I am and more to who you are than just the flesh and bone and breath and beating heart in our chest. We can begin to slip away from this idea that there is this ground of all being. There is this divine presence that is here and now in this moment. And my hope is that you would continue to take that seriously, and that you would find opportunities and ways to continue to pause, to take a deep breath, and to understand the sacredness of who you are, the beauty, significance, and sacredness of the world around you. I believe that rest should also be a period of growth. In other words, I'm not a big gym rat, okay? So I'm not the last guy in the world that should be talking about this. But one of the things that I understand when it comes to working out and trying to build muscle and, build up your body with strength is that rest days can be just as important as days where you work out and you give it your all at the gym. That your body, your muscles just need an opportunity to rest, because it's in that rest that they're able to continue to grow. And I think the same would be true. I hope the same would be true in this period of rest for you as well. That this is going to look different for me and look different for you than any of us ever anticipated. If you had told me that we were going to be doing this 2-3 months ago, I would have been like, that's crazy. There's no way we're going to do that. But in the midst of leading up to this, there is this belief. And again, I spoke about it last week. There is this belief that rest, a period and a time of rest, is an opportunity to grow as well. And in that we take our spirituality seriously, even in rest. So it's gonna look different. There's not gonna be this thing on Sundays at 5 p.m. to be disciplined about and to make it to every single week and all these kinds of things. There's gonna be opportunity for you to rest or invest your time and energy somewhere else. And that's a good and okay thing. But in the midst of that, you can still grow. And in fact, I believe you have the opportunity to grow if you take this seriously this year more, and I really mean this, more than if I was up front talking. Because I believe in this work of being present, honest, open, and the embodiment of love. And that Matt Blakesley has to be 0 parts of that equation. Because there is this divine presence, because there is this beauty that is here now in this moment, when we are present, honest, open, and love, we are engaging with that and we are moving forward in a more beautiful way forward together because of that. So there may be opportunities, I really believe it, for you to see growth in your life and growth in your spirituality in the midst of rest, that it doesn't look different, that you're not focused on a Sunday gathering, but you're focused maybe on, as we've talked about in this series, a new normal for how you go about your beliefs, a new normal for how you choose to engage the Bible or scriptures or sacred texts, choosing to engage your intellect and mind differently, a new normal for how you choose to go about community. That rest, yes, looks different, but there can be growth if you take it seriously. So that would be my hope. And man, I can't wait to see all of you at the picnic, because we get to connect, and I don't know if we'll be able to hug then or not. Who knows? We'll just elbow or do whatever the professionals are recommending at that point. But we at least get to see each other and talk to one another. On that, again, the dates for those picnics, I hope you can make it June 14th, July 12th, and August 9th. Make sure you signed up for our email newsletter, because that's going to be the best opportunity for you to stay connected as any new information and news is coming out. So then just got a couple more comments that have come in. Alyssa, hello, Alyssa. I'm so glad you're speaking up and doing what you need to take care. Thank you so much, Alyssa. And then Chris says, take your spirituality seriously. Good words. What we do with it is up to each of us. So true. So I'm going to call the band back, and they're going to come, and we're going to sing what honestly is my favorite song. And Kate actually is so sick of this song on so many levels. She wants nothing to do with this song, but this is the last time I'm going to get to play this song.
I'll humor you this one time.
Okay, thank you so much. You're not quite in the shot.
Okay.
Come on. There you go. Give the people what they showed up for. I'm sorry. There's Kate Blakesley, everybody. This is a song that's... I love this song because there's some roots to it, as far as it's an old hymn. But I love kind of these 3 different aspects of it, that there's this aspect of an engagement of who we are and bringing our voice. There's an aspect of recognizing this divine presence that is chasing us, inviting us to be a part of things. And then there's an aspect of just the brokenness of who we all are, but yet the desire to continue to move forward even in our brokenness. And so kind of all of those aspects together make this song such a beautiful thing. So, shall we?
Chris Glenn wants to know how many favorite songs you have.
That's a great question, Chris. More than one. I'll just say that. But this is like my favorite hymn.
And
I know, and that's why you make fun of me for it. Most Sundays when this song would be on the list, Kate would go, really? We have to do that one again? Yeah. So most of you can probably guess exactly what it is because you've sung it so many times. Mm-hmm. So how many? Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. of every blessing, to my heart to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. And teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above, and praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, mount of God's redeeming love. Here I raise my Ebenezer, hither by thy help I come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus saw me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God, here to rescue me from danger, interposed his precious blood. Go to grace, how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. So let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wandering heart to thee. And prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. So here's my heart, take and seal it for thy courts above. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy courts above. So come thou fount of every blessing, to my heart to sing thy praise. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, mount of God's redeeming love. And praise the mount I'm fixed upon it, mount of God's redeeming love. Well, Kate and Bart, thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I will obviously still be around. Kate will still be around. Bart,
Who knows?
wherever wheat beers are served, you'll be able to find Bart Barkak. So obviously, I want to make sure that it's known, part of the reality of CMYK not going away, but just looking different over the next year, is that if you need anything, and I really, really mean that, if you need anything, please reach out. Please reach out through social media. Please reach out through our website. Please reach out to just the people that you know that are a part of CMYK. Again, this is community, and that we work to be the embodiment of love together. And so please don't view this as there's nobody there. Please don't view this as you are alone, but please do everything you can to lean into the relationships and people around you, and let us know how CMYK can be a part of that. So I love all of you, and I can't wait to hopefully see all of you, hopefully at the picnic very, very soon. So other than that, happy Memorial Day weekend. Thanks so much for being a part of this, everybody. Hope to see you soon. Bye. Bye. I gotta find the right button. Bye.